test. I don't know if this is working or not, man. Let's check. Got a stupid notification on my radio. So it's been a little bit since I've done a video, but it's because I've been working through other things in my mind. I just started a website where I'm currently building out coaching plans, and the goal is to make the website itself an educational platform that I can ultimately, monetize on its own face, honestly, where I'll offer coaching. I'm working on ebooks for winter, or not for winter, but during the winter when I'm in my break time. I've got about 8 weeks of break, and then into the bulk when my mind is more clear. Going to work on some ebooks, which will pretty much branch off the coaching platforms, but we'll talk about that more at a separate date. So we're 8 weeks from needing to be ready, 9 weeks out at this point. Figured I'd do a video or a post in order to capture kind of the changes, right? So this morning I was 197.8 pounds, which is in line, tracking right along where I should be. I have increased cardio slightly, so I'm at 50 minutes of treadmill 4 times a week, and then I am 3 days a week. The plan is to split cardio for an hour on the recumbent bike, 2 sessions, 30 minutes, maybe 30 minutes plus. Deficit is really starting to kick in. I can feel the fatigue in my legs. It's nowhere near as bad as it got last year. All of my working sets are still strong. I would say that I'm as strong as I was peak bulk. So very good progress in that. Starting to lose pumps. Obviously, with calories getting so low, I relatively quickly dropped from 26 to 23. I went from 26 because I was stagnant. I pushed that about a week too long. Then I dropped to 25, which really didn't seem to make any difference whatsoever. And then, so I went ahead and dropped to 24, and then 23, because at 24 I was still having a lot of carbs, to be honest with you, more than what I needed. At this point, it was time to feeling it, and feeling it I am at this point. So I ended up doing a small, I say small because it was just one meal and it was not a binge, but I ended up doing a refeed meal day before yesterday, so that would have been Tuesday. So I had my normal meals, everything's the same, but starting this rotation through on Monday, I was off Sunday. I noticed I was kind of more winded during my working sets, right? Strength was still there. Fatigue is starting to build, and I can kind of tell my mental is changing a bit by way of being more irritable. Things that used to just be, people saying things didn't trigger me, no matter how stupid they were, they're starting to trigger me. Now, I haven't made it to the point of lashing out yet, but it's coming, and I can feel that. So it's important to recognize that and not partake if you can. There's no reason to make the people around you miserable for something that you're doing to yourself voluntarily. So just if you can catch yourself early on, better off you'll be before you're in full piss off mode all the time and you've given into it, and there, for lack of better words, there's not a lot of turning back. So starting Monday, I noticed myself getting real winded between sets. So obviously I reduced volume. I like to do high volume as in my intention is always a minimum of 4 working sets where I'm going to push to failure after pyramiding up to my working weight. That's going to be 2 reps from absolute total failure, and I push there for everything I got for 4 sets. Well, then something that I like to do is I like to do a few more sets while I warm up my next muscle group by dropping 5-10 pounds, and then that should increase reps, and then I drive them to failure. Well, I noticed I was getting like winded, like just sprinted type winded after every set, which is not normal, or has not been normal. It's normal for this time in prep, but not normal as in it kind of came upon me fast. So that carried on to Tuesday. Tuesday was back day. I ended up not even doing a whole lot of squeezy secondary workout stuff because I was just so exhausted. So I said, well, I'm very familiar with this feeling. If you stay in this zone to where you're strong, but you're so exhausted that you start giving up on your full workout, or you start shorting yourself a set here or something there, well, the very next thing to come is muscle loss. And the thing about it is there's absolutely zero chance of recovering it. Zero chance. Even if you increase PEDs or whatever, there's no recovering it. It's gone. That tissue's gone. It's been consumed by your body, and it can't be recovered until you're done. You get back into maintenance and then surplus. So my goal for this year was to preserve all muscle at all costs as much as possible, and I was going to err on the side of not being fully conditioned in order to save that amount of muscle, because the long game of this thing is to be the best that I can be, right? I'm not going to be the best that I can be this year. And I say that because in my off season, I was still getting stronger, actively getting stronger when I went into my pre-diet phase. So that lets me know I still had gains to be made, because I was not gaining weight. Scale wasn't ticking up for a couple weeks, which was an indicator of time to increase food. So it was either increase food, ride that for a few weeks, or go ahead and go into our pre-diet phase, which I decided to go to pre-diet phase just so I could take my time and try to preserve as much muscle as possible. So we're not done yet. So long game, not, and we're still talking about being single digits. It's just a local show that I'm doing. So 8%, 7%, hell, even probably 10% is going to get you on your average day at a show, regional show, local, is going to be hopefully top 5, you know. There's not a lot of big guys there. There's a few big, ginormous monsters there. But for the most part, the vast majority of your local regional competitors are guys without a lot of muscle, and they're just either jogger in shape, or they're not a lot of muscle, and they just kind of look normal with trunks on. I mean, just being honest with you. Now, there will be a few guys there that'll surprise you who will be the real freaking thing, and those are the guys you'll identify as the ones that are about it, the ones that are trying to push to the next level. But like life and everything else, not everybody's trying to push to the next level. Everybody does these shows for different reasons. Some for fat loss, some for once off, some for, not a lot of everybody is progressively trying to be their best. So that's my mentality of it. So I would err on the side of coming in at 7-8%, not being ridiculously depleted, and set myself up for a much more productive off season. So my goal for the year is to come in, preliminary goal is to be 195. I was going to set my floor at 193. That's true weight, morning fasted, previous day, full fed, hydrated, no types of manipulations whatsoever with water, sodium, anything like that, carbs, nothing. A true dieted 193 fasted is kind of the bottom I'm setting, and I'm hoping to achieve that on no more than 1 hour of cardio, 7 days a week, and bottom is 2,100 calories, which I honestly think that 2,100 calories is going to push me down deeper. And even though I'll be lighter than I want to be, I would still be bigger and leaner than I was last year from the muscle that I accrued. But if I push to 21, it won't be but the last like 2 weeks. And that's all going to depend on fatigue and things like that. So anyhow, I did a refeed. So all normal meals, meal 1 through 4 were normal. Normal, same exact 2,300 calorie meal plan that I made for myself. And I got done with my workout early. Like I said, I was so exhausted I couldn't do a lot, shortchange myself some of the sets. That worried me. So I ate 3 servings of jasmine rice with a little bit of soy sauce on there. And then I had 2 servings of Quaker oat rice cakes, the little ones. And all I had was jalapeno cheddar. So 2 servings of those, and I pretty much scooped the rice like it was dip, packed it on there with a spoon, and man, it was delicious. So long story short, it was 860 calories, 160 grams of carbohydrates, and a little bit of fat sprinkled in because of just the rice cakes, I believe, and the cheese that was on those. So that morning, I was 198.8. Okay. Normal day, I went into an 860 calorie carb load. Now, my goal was not to exceed my maintenance calorie, which I'm losing about a week, so I assume was 500. I wanted to stay in that range. So I fully expected overnight to be holding more water, which is typically 6 or 7 pounds higher than my morning weigh-in. Well, to my surprise, yesterday morning, I woke up at 198.8. Think about that. How the hell did I consume 160 grams of extra carbohydrates, almost 500 grams of carbs? Didn't gain any weight. Didn't hold any extra. The only time this is relatable to me in the past is during peak week, where you're so depleted that your body fully utilizes everything by way of replenishment. You didn't make any gains, not getting extra pumps, you're not getting nothing like that because you're in such a perfect, I'll call it perfect, deficit, right? So it was a crazy occurrence. So yesterday, post carb refeed meal, mental clarity was good. I had a little bit of reduced fatigue in my legs. Cardio was still not awesome. Still had to kind of drive myself through it. But then I was the same level of irritability that afternoon, and I did leg day yesterday as well. But I was the same level of irritability as I was before. So unlike the morning when I woke up, and cool thing is there was no spilling. No spill. Like last year, because I did a lot of keto, very low carb, not full keto, but very, very, very low carb. Man, I'm telling you, if I had 50 grams of carbs, I would wake up the next morning looking like a damn water buffalo. Like I'd be so soft. I like Pillsbury Doughboy type shit. So I did not partake in that this time, and I kept my carbs high because the goal through my off season was to get calories and maintain calories as high as utterly possible, which I did because I knew that was going to be a lever that I could pull ever so slowly and not get cardio extremely high, which has been my goal the whole time. And that has been successful. So I didn't spill. I'm going to use this data moving forward. I know that on 500 grams of carbs, I did not spill. It did not load me. It did not there was no negative impact, right, in my current state. And I do take a glucose supplement. I take berberine, which is something I wish I would have took last year because it's supposed to better help your body utilize carbohydrates. So it seems to be doing its job. But knowing this, I'm not planning refeeds, okay? That's something that we're not doing. You can't turn your refeeds into binges because you got to be real careful because once you flip the switch into knowing that you ate more than you should and you have this feeling of failure, it's real easy to say, you know what? I've already ate more than I'm supposed to, so I'm just gonna, eat cookies and bagels and have myself a bowl of cereal and all this nonsense. So, but I did not do that. I refrained from that, and I want you all to do that as well. But don't. You could plan your refeed, make it something you look forward to. I don't do that. I utilize it when it's a have to, more or less, not a planned scenario where I can try to junk it up and have simple sugars and all that good stuff. Sorry, there's a car beside me. Just got ego toss. But hold on. Look at that. It kicked on my camera. Emergency recording. It's a Dodge. Looks like a Dodge Viper. Cool car. But anyhow, so some data was gained from that. Unfortunately, it's not going to stick with me as far as any added feeling better pump or anything like that. But today I woke up with a new morning low, 197.8. Back at baseline, 2,300 calories. Today is chest day, and every day the goal is to measure strength. If I have to reduce volume on secondary type stuff, pump workout type stuff, that's fine, as long as my major working sets, I'm able to maintain my strength for 8 or more reps to failure. For 4 sets is my goal. But yeah, don't plan your refeeds if possible. Just take them when you have to. So mentally, I'm not planning it, but I'm gonna almost try my best to refuse to do a refeed anything shy of 2 weeks from now. Now that I've learned that the refeed didn't hurt me, didn't make me spill, this is all useful information. Because what you've got to think about with a refeed, if you do overdo it, then you're going to lose a week, 4 to 5 days of fat loss. You just are. It's just going to take you that time to bleed down. You're not going to gain weight from it, not unless you go really crazy, but you're going to lose 4 or 5 days of productive fat loss is just down the drain. You don't want to do that. Not 8 weeks out. Last time I got into a position where I was doing a refeed probably every week towards the end, and ultimately that kept me from being as lean as I could have been. But I was at such a bad point because I had lost so much muscle. Anyways, but I think I'm going to cut this one here. Just want to do a quick update, get a video done. I'll try to get back on the train of doing this even more because we're getting so close. I like to capture what I'm going through. Like I can tell you from this competition, I really knew what to expect during this prep. But you forget though, like the feeling of depletion. You remember it, but you can't really feel it still. So it's a different thing, like completely different. When you're in it, and there's no coming back. There's no redoing the levers, right? That's why you want to take your time. Because once you drop them calories, they can never go back up. Once you add cardio, it can never go back down, not during your prep. So yeah, I'll end this one here. Thanks for listening. Subscribe if you want to hear more stuff like this. I try to keep this as real as possible. It's all real. It's all life. It's all true. It's all failure and successes, big, small, and everything in the middle. So thanks for listening. I'll catch you on the next one.